Oh, hello, little readers. Welcome to Nighty Night by Flashlight, read in Ruthy's reading room. I'm Ruthy, and this is my buddy Jaw. We're here to read our bedtime story together. I'm so excited and happy you've come to join us. Is everybody ready for bed? I know Jaw and I are, but we don't want to start without you. Let's make sure everybody is ready. Let's do the Nighty Night by Flashlight bedtime checklist. Let's begin.
Okay. Night. Knock. Check. Got your teeth? Check. Pajama on. Check. Bedtime story. .net.
Make sure you have your stuffy and flashlight. Now it's time for Nighty Night by Flashlight. So turn off the lights. Ready, set, shine. Turn on your flashlight. Let's begin and make sure you watch to the end. In tonight's Nighty Night by Flashlight bedtime story, we'll be reading A Monster or a Microwave by Tephra Miriam and edited by Ashley Hare. Let's begin. I was sitting in my kitchen, just Mr. Fridge and me, chomping on what I'd say was a lovely fruit medley. Watermelon, pineapple, cantaloupe, and pears. I gobbled all of it up so fast that I got some in my hair. Oh dear, she did get some in her hair, didn't she? Mr. Fridge laughed and laughed until his belly hurt. Tears came out of his fridge eyes and laughter from his throat. I grabbed Mom's stool and pulled it over until it touched the sink, 'cause Mom will make me wash my hair. So I washed it in a blink. Look at the fridge laughing. Whew, I said as I climbed down and sat upon the floor. Suddenly I heard a cheesy growl, followed by a very loud roar. I crept around and sniffed my nose like I've seen my dog Fanny do. I even got down on all fours and found my missing tube of glue. Good thing she was looking. I heard a monster type of laugh and slowly stood to my feet. That's when I saw this giant creature, and it even winked at me. Is that a monster or Mrs. Microwave? I thought quietly in my mind. My hands grew cold, my skin turned pale, and a tingling went up my spine. The monster smiled a cheesy, very greasy type of smile. She said, "Hello," and as she spoke, she raised her pink eyebrows. I could not speak, think, or move. I simply stood and stared. She said, "Don't be shy. Come over here. I love your pretty hair." You see the pink eyebrows? I closed my eyes because I thought, if I can't see her, maybe she can't see me. When I opened them, I was surprised. I was sitting in a giant tree. Yes, she is. Look at her. This world was bright and full of trees, almost like a jungle. I saw Mr. Fridge and Miss Fork and Spoon running for my teddy named Snuggle. This must be Snuggle. Fridge, Spoon, and Fork. Oh. I looked down at what appeared to be a very rainforest-looking kitchen. That's when I saw Mrs. Microwave walking with a mission. She stopped and seemed to look around as if she were looking just for me. I then heard a quiet shh sound coming from Mrs. Tree. Mrs. Tree whispered, "Don't breathe or think or even blink until that monster passes." I held on tight as Mrs. Tree slip by her like molasses. When Mrs. Tree was far away, she started to run faster and faster. She ran by bowls, plates, and cups, and even a dancing saucer. I yelled, "Where are we going?" trying hard not to be frightened. Mrs. Tree said, "I know someone that can help us, but it's difficult to find him. He's a slippery, foamy, and sudsy fellow that can beat this greasy monster. If we don't find him soon and clean her up, it will be a total disaster." Look, she's still sitting in that tree. As Mrs. Tree ran, I got to see the spectacular kitchen jungle. Everything sparkled with beautiful colors, and my tummy was tickled with laughter. I bounced on Mrs. Tree's soft leaves and laughed until I cried. "We are here!" she yelled, and I held my breath at the beautiful sight. "Bubble Land?" I read out loud slowly because I just learned to read. Mrs. Tree said, "Yes, Bubble Land is where we are indeed." There's a sign, Bubble Land. Lots of bubbles, hints of pink, blue, white, and green. Very surely I could see. Oh, the bubbles were spectacular, all dancing just for me. "Look," Mrs. Tree shouted, "Mr. Bubble is over there." She put me down on a pile of bubbles that felt as soft as air. "Hello," I heard a very deep type of bubbly voice did say. "Hello," I said as I kind of smiled in a shy type of way. "What brings a pretty girl like you to Bubble Land, so far away from home?" I said, "I have a monster issue, sir, that I just can't handle alone." Mr. Bubble nodded happily and smiled his bubble smile. "I can help, don't worry now. It will all be fine in just a while." I smiled so big that my face hurt, but I simply couldn't stop. "There you go," Mr. Bubble said. "What a lovely smile you've got." I thought we had to rush and leave, but Mr. Bubble said, "Stay and play." So we sang and danced and laughed and played until we stopped for lemonade. The lemonade was so yummy and lemony, I asked for more and more. I smacked and licked my lips until it was surely time to go. We set out on our journey to find out where the monster lived. We passed Bedtime Land, Laundry Town, and a big cave where dust bunnies hid. They're on an adventure. When we finally got there, the monster's lair was sticky, gooey, and greasy. It smelled like old cheese with garlic and fish and moldy old bologna. Mrs. Tree said goodbye to us before we finally headed in. Mr. Bubble and I waved our hands, and I flashed just one last grin. I guess they're going into that cave. Good luck. Oh, look at all the bubbles. Mr. Bubble took the lead, and where he stepped, he made it better and better. By the time we were halfway in, the cave was starting to smell much fresher and fresher. We crept and cleaned and crept some more until we heard a sound. He's cleaning as he goes. Mrs. Microwave was at the door. Her feet were pounding the ground. She looked at us with greasy eyes and then began to growl. I wanted to run away and hide, but Mr. Bubble said, "Stand your ground." Oh, there's Mrs. Microwave. Mrs. Microwave sniffed and wiggled her nose and noticed her cave was clean. She started to shake, her eyes grew wide, And then she began to scream. "How dare you come and clean my cave?" Her cheesy mouth spoke loud. "You never used to be this way," I yelled, very strong and proud. She didn't back down. Mrs. Microwave stopped and looked at me, amazed and surprised. "I remember now," she said with a sniff, and slowly realized my mouth wasn't always full of cheese. And then she began to cry. "Don't worry," I said quietly, and dried her bright yellow eyes. Oh, poor Mrs. Microwave. "Mr. Bubbles will fix everything," I said, so proud and strong. "You won't smell any more like stinky cheese," I said, just like a song. Mr. Bubbles began to go to work, scrub-a-dub-dubbing. When he stepped aside, we all said wow, and Mrs. Microwave was smiling. Mrs. Microwave sang and danced and laughed, just like she used to do. We all joined in and said hooray, and sang along with her too. After that, I sat and tried to nap, tired from all of my dancing. I closed my eyes, and when I opened them, I saw the water in my kitchen running. I looked up and saw a wonderful sight, my dad looking down at me. I wiggled my nose and said to him, "I no longer smell stinky cheese." He laughed and looked at me and said, "You are such a silly goose. I cleaned that dirty microwave, and now we can all use." Oh, look at them. You fell asleep on the kitchen floor, tired from all of your playing. He picked me up, looked at me and said, "Now what else should we be exploring?" Daddy to the rescue. The end. I hope everyone enjoyed that story. A monster or a microwave? Which one was it? That's right, a microwave. I hope everyone is ready to go to bed. Please say goodnight to your loved ones. Give them a big hug and kiss. And remember, the best place to read is wherever you are with a book. And Jaw wants to remind all of you to subscribe to this channel, give us a thumbs up, and hit that notification bell so you'll know when we're reading Nighty Night by Flashlight bedtime stories, and you can join in as well. Sweet dreams, little readers. Good night.